Airwolf won't be seen tonight, so we can bring you a very special episode of The Gen X Files. Welcome to The Gen X Files. I'm Jim.
I'm Adam.
And today's show is
For the Stepdads.
Oh, yeah, sweet old stepdads are sitting there eating their heart candies and their John candies.
Oh, yeah. I ate so many heart candies that I had a tummy ache.
I ate so many John candies.
Oh, Lord.
I have a real tummy ache.
Somebody needs to sell those. They should have little heart-shaped, not like the heart-shaped ones, but like that same candy, but shaped like John candy.
Yeah.
And then sell them.
Well, it's like the roll for sandwich guy.
Yeah.
Have you seen his latest?
I saw the one today, but it was... Oh, no, the one... Yeah. With
There's
the
shack heads.
candies. The best was when he was putting the sauce on, he was like, here's some for you, and for you.
There is a YouTuber or TikToker, I guess.
He's more TikTok famous, yeah.
It's called Roll for Sandwich.
Roll for Sandwich, yeah.
Something Arcadia or...
Ardia. Adventures in Ardia.
Adventures in Ardia, and he makes a sandwich, basically D&D style. He rolls his dice to check, for like the bread and the meat. And
every component is random.
And there's some really disgusting things on there too. So he's made some super gross sandwiches.
He has a cookbook coming out, which I'm really interested in because there's been some really good sandwiches he's made. Like things that people were like, "Whoa!" and it was really good. Yeah. But anyway, he's fun to watch.
Yes, he really is, and he's been traveling all over. And
he is one of the most successful TikTok people that I don't follow TikTok, but one of the most successful people. It's crazy how popular he is on TikTok.
It's that kind of niche. You pick something, you do it right, and you do it over and over again. Yeah,
he's been doing it 3 times a week for like 2 years.
Sounds like us. Yeah, but we haven't found his numbers yet.
We're getting there.
If you need 4 minutes of fun, look up Roll for Sandwich. The guy's, it's a lot of fun to watch.
He's really cool. Yeah, he's fun. And he's actually he's a very sweet guy. Like he's very much in the mold of John Candy.
Yeah,
like he seems like a really sweet dude.
Yeah, family dude.
Yeah,
just
he just loves D&D.
Loves sandwiches. Loves D&D.
Yeah,
I got that in common.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start one called Roll for Sadness.
Yeah,
and
it's
just lists
roll
of
a
things
D20,
and it's
just 1 through 20 is sadness. Oh, I rolled sadness again.
No, it's different reasons for sadness, Adam, and then I will extrapolate on those reasons.
I'm going to start my own called Roll for Sadness, and it's just going to be me over and over again rolling sadness.
Okay, we'll see who does better. Whose rolls for sadness?
The funny thing is that I probably will because that's just how dumb social media is.
True that.
Yeah.
Well, man, we're coming to the end of our sweet candy month. A short month for a big man.
Yeah. It's so good. It's so I will watch anything John Candy is in.
Yeah.
As evidenced by the fact that we both seen career opportunities.
I forgot he was in that though.
Yeah. I mean, me too. But he was such a good actor. He was such a sweet guy. I mean, we've talked about him a lot, but he's one of the few celebrities that it's like, man, I just wish I could have seen a third act or even more of a second act.
Yeah. Or met him or, he, before we started this month over the holidays, I was watching a lot of SCTV.
Yeah.
And, I just kind of fell in love with him all over again. And that's why I suggested the month because it was, I forgot just how incredibly talented that man is.
He's so good.
And if you look at the SCTV clips, there's nothing the guy couldn't do.
Right.
Whether it's musical comedy or physical comedy, smart comedy, dumb comedy, bad guy, good guy.
Right.
All of his characters were really fleshed out and real. There weren't caricatures. They were characters. And it just goes to prove just how incredibly talented he was. And these movies, in my opinion, these sweet candy movies, are the pinnacle of his acting because there's nothing to hide behind.
Yeah. He is so good at being vulnerable and being human, and these 3 movies really show that.
Yeah, and Planes, Trains too.
No, of course. We just have already covered that.
Right,
but yeah, I mean, definitely Planes and Trains or Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is up there with that as well. And in fact, probably for me up there with like Only Lonely for like his best acting performance. He's so good. He's just so good. He's so good at being likable and just real. Like, he's just so real.
Most actors who would have played the character in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles would have been such a buffoon that it would have been hard to like him.
Right.
Because his buffoonery, it's not over the top. It's just
It's just him.
He's just a big, clumsy guy who gets in his own way and doesn't really pay attention. He's distracted.
He's got a big personality.
Like
he's
drunk.
He's a salesman. Like he's just a big. Yeah, he's just a big. And that's the beauty of that movie, is that he's doing all of it to cover up the extreme sadness that he has
of losing his wife, and it's a brilliant performance. And I guess what I'm saying is it's very hard to go one way of obnoxious and annoying and be able to pull it back and become the hero of the piece.
Yeah.
And he nobody could do it like he could.
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, he was able to go tete-a-tete with Maureen O'Hara, one of the greatest actors of our time. Like, she's so good, and he was able to hold his own with her.
Yeah, because he wasn't afraid to be vulnerable. He wasn't afraid to look foolish.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
like a bad performance foolish, but he wasn't afraid to explore the parts of humanity that most people run from, and a lot of vain actors run from as well.
Right.
And that's what made him so real. That's what made him and his performances something that adheres to your heart. You know, after watching Only the Lonely, that performance, you feel what he feels.
Oh yeah, you're there with him. Yeah. Oh yeah.
And if you don't, you're a sociopath.
Yeah. If you don't, then and a lot of people have been trying to make that more of a thing, but everyone should be more vulnerable.
Yes.
Be willing to put yourself out there.
We're all vulnerable. We all have weakness. We all have sadness. We all have shame. And I think that's another thing that he dances around and plays with really well. Is shame. And not like, biblical shame, but there's the shame of not doing the right thing, or the familial shame that we constantly heap upon ourselves with our family. The shame of, I didn't do this for my mother or my father. Or the shame of the mother.
If I don't do this for my mother. Right. Yeah. Like, what's going to happen?
Yeah. And that's also something that's not explored that much anymore.
No, really not. I mean, there's this veneer of everything having to be perfect, and I think that's actually, we've talked about this before. I think that's part of the reason why these like comedies aren't there anymore, because people aren't willing to show that shame and that vulnerability. And there's some new comedies that are doing it now, but like, I think that we've shifted so far towards like, well, everything's got to be perfect, and like, oh no, you don't have issues, like you're great the way you are. And it's like, no, like, allow yourself to explore and see what it is to be a person.
I believe that there's a misconception about, and I've talked about it with a few people also, that they don't want to make comedies now because they'll get in trouble. They think they can't say the right thing, and that's bullshit. I mean, I've seen so many comedies that are not politically correct, but not in a hurtful or shitty way. It's
right.
You can be crazy and politically incorrect and gross as long as it's not punching down or being and you could do that too if you want. Nobody's stopping you, but it's
I mean, that doesn't mean it'll probably be less funny.
Exactly.
But I agree. I there's definitely comedies now. If you are a person who decided that you can't do this stuff now, that means you have stopped growing, and that you need to take a look deep inside yourself and see what the problem is.
Right, because I'll tell you this, Bottoms, which is one of my favorite comedies in the last 10 years,
great example,
is not politically correct.
Oh no. And
it has got a lot of raw, effed up edges that makes it great. I think
it's so funny.
Exactly. And people are finding a way to do subversive comedies again, but it's more independent now. It's more under the radar. We'll get into it when we start talking about movies, because we watched a couple of new mainstream comedies. But we're losing a lot in terms of movies like these sweet candy movies. The first two I would kind of call cozy movies. A little vacation. You go on a vacation with this guy and his family. There's a little bit of hiccups here and there, but we all know it's going to be a happy ending.
Yeah.
And, the stakes aren't very high.
No. Except for the bear. But
Right.
I mean, but even then, still,
Yes.
Everyone's
The
going to
bear
make
in the
it.
regatta. But,
He got shot in the butt.
I'm going into the basement with Mojo.
Can I go play with Boot?
Mommy, can I go into the basement?
Yeah.
Great, but fun movies. And then, I would love to see something like Only the Lonely again. Something that is not... The problem is, I think, is a lot of times with these comedies, especially the ones that are, got heart or trying to whatever, they go either too schmaltzy or they go too against the schmaltz. And you need a mix. And it's not schmaltz. You need a mix of true heart and emotion.
Yeah.
And comedy. And,
Right.
And so we all know, being in families, that a lot of comedy comes out of tragedy and a lot of comedy comes from dysfunction. And I think it could be done again. I would like to see some new... I want to see the new Apatow. I want to see the new Carl Reiner. I want to see the new... person who is going to, redefine comedy for the 2020s. I guess probably the 2030s because we're almost done with the 2020s.
Yeah. Well, it'll probably end up being some kid that was born in 2012. He's going to make a comedy at 18 in 2030, and it's going to blow everybody away.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
But not to say that there haven't been good comedies. It's just,
there definitely have been.
It's just hard to find them.
Yeah, and the thing is that it's also like there's a perfect example. There is a movie on Netflix right now, the number one movie on Netflix right now. It came out this month, called La Dolce Villa, I guess. It's got Scott Foley in it. He goes to Italy, and it's a comedy, and it's a romantic comedy, and I feel like it could be very much in the vein of an Only the Lonely. Okay. Obviously, not as deep with an overbearing mother and the family. But again, I don't know because I didn't watch it because the trailer was awful.
Yeah.
No reason for me to want to watch this movie. It could very well be a really kind of cozy comedy.
Yeah.
But I'm never going to watch it because it looked awful.
Well, Scott Foley, too, doesn't scream comedy to me.
I agree. But it's the little bits that I saw was funny. I mean, the only real funny in the trailer was that, he was around a bunch of Italian women that were screaming at him in Italian. And he's like, I don't understand anything you're saying. And it's okay, that's funny. But I feel like that's going to be the joke for the entire movie.
Yeah, fish out of water.
Yeah, but it could be good. I don't know, but it doesn't either have the John Candy star power, or it doesn't have a Chris Columbus, or I don't know who wrote and directed it.
Right.
Scott Foley's not somebody that I'm dying to go see.
Yeah,
it could be.
He's not John Candy.
It could be really good.
Sure.
And obviously people are watching it, but I feel like that's kind of what people have settled for.
Well, we've also stopped releasing comedies in theaters. They just go to streaming now.
That is very true.
I can't remember the last big budget comedy that came out in a theater and did really well.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, and we're going to talk about it later, but one of the movies that came out that we watched, I'm shocked it didn't come out in the theater.
Me too.
I feel like that would have done really well.
It definitely would have. We'll get to there, but it's I miss movies like these movies.
Agreed.
And what's so funny is I was talking about this with a friend of ours yesterday that there were so many goddamn comedies back in the 80s.
Yeah.
That these comedies didn't get the greatest reviews. There were so many damn comedies.
Yeah. There was such a glut of these comedies because these were cheap to make.
And quality comedies.
Yeah. Yeah. It was at that point where it was we can drop $3 million on a movie and we make 30. Hey, great. Let's make 2 or 3 more of them.
And you had the Masters work, and you had Steve Martin, you had Chevy, doing some of his better work. You had John Candy, you had Steve Martin, all of these guys. Just
Eddie Murphy. It was just huge.
Yeah, Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Dan Aykroyd. They owned comedy back then. It got oversaturated, and it ate itself.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, Kitty Schick, too, with all the useless sequels.
I mentioned that to a couple of friends. We went mini golfing for a friend's birthday, and down in Santa Monica, and none of them even knew that Caddyshack 2 existed.
Good for them.
And I was like, I am sorry I brought it up. Please don't find it. Please don't find it. I did your impression of Dan Aykroyd with his balls cut off. And they were just like, what? It was great.
Hey, I'm going to take over. What are you talking about?
Yeah, then I tried to explain Jackie Mason, and nobody remembered who he was.
Jackie Mason played an anteater. Hey,
Yeah.
Ant.
Yeah.
Gonna get you. Yeah, so, it crumbled upon its own weight after a while.
Yes. Connection 2 was definitely the bottom of the heap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was kind of the beginning of the end of these big, broad comedies. And also, teen comedies were losing. They were losing their everything. It seemed like a lot of these comedies were losing their teeth towards the end of the 80s. You know, we were getting to a point of, we needed to label everything and bad words. And we started putting labels on records and video games. And, Tipper Gore had a crusade against everything filthy. So...
that's what's wrong with society.
Yes. Well, good thing we fixed it.
Yes.
But it took a lot of I think the culmination of all that was kind of Beverly Hills Cop 3.
Ugh.
Which, if you want to look at the most soulless, unfunny action quoties comedy ever.
So good, not good.
I walked out of that.
Wow.
And I walked into that for free.
Wow.
I was theater bouncing, and I walked out of 2 movies that day.
Wow.
Disgusted. One was that, and I forget what the other one was, but I just could not bear Eddie Murphy just being so awful.
Yeah. It's like, you're better than this, man.
Well, it wasn't
what are
even
you
his
doing?
fault. It was just such a bad effing movie.
It was a cash grab. And this is part of the problem. And then it turned into the stuff in the 90s where it was like, and I talked about this a little bit before, but where it was like, well, it's not just that we have Adam Sandler. It's like, we got to have a gimmick.
Yeah.
There has to be a gimmick. Let's make gimmick comedies.
He's a water boy.
He has a remote control that controls everything.
It's basically like, okay, Adam, what weird voice do you want to do for this one? And then that ended with that horrible little Nicky or whatever.
Oh, God.
And everybody was like, this is the most off-putting thing you've ever done.
This is so bad.
And then now he's on Netflix.
Yeah, him and Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
But Eddie Murphy was even worse after Beverly Hills Cop 3, man. The movies he made, ugh.
Well, he did kind of what Pryor did, was they turned them both into kid movie guys. So everything that Murphy was doing was...
Yeah, they got a little older, and then they had kids, and it was like, okay.
Or, 1,000 words, or, all
Again,
these...
gimmicks.
Yeah. And that's the thing. They were all gimmick movies. Norbit.
Although, I mean, a lot of that, too, was because of, like, Jim Carrey with The Mask, and Liar, Liar, and, like, these movies that made a ton of money.
Well, also Eddie Murphy with... Nutty Professor.
Yeah,
I mean,
that
was hilarious.
True. It was really funny, but it was a gimmick, and then it was very poorly imitated.
Right. Well,
everyone is, I got an idea. Yeah.
Eddie Murphy did really good character work as other characters, and starting with Coming to America. Playing the Jewish barber and playing Buddy Love.
That's the difference between Coming to America and The Nutty Professor. Is that Coming to America had heart and had relationships and focused on characters rather than the concept.
Well, I'm flattered.
Yeah, which, I mean, again, is funny, but, like, they did that, and now we're done with that.
Well, Fatty Falls Down isn't funny anymore.
No.
Comedies about people being fat or stupid or blind or, making fun of people for things that they can't really control.
Right.
It's just not that funny anymore.
No.
And you can't say that is censorship, or that is, I can't be funny anymore because I can't make fun of the fat guy. Well, it's like, if your whole thing is making fun of a fat guy, then you're not really funny.
Yeah.
There's nothing clever about pointing out somebody who's fat and then saying you're a fat slob. Oh, how much cake you eating, fatty? What
was it was in I think it was it Flubber? The one with, or no, it was Nutty Professor with Eddie Griffin, I think, or somebody. Who was it? No, or Chris Rock? Not Chris Rock.
No, it was Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle doing the just punching down, and they made fun of that in that movie.
Yeah,
because it wasn't funny. Oh, women be shopping. It's like, what? Okay, how is that funny?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I've never been a huge fan of, like, the contemporary roasts and roast comedy.
I agree.
I get it. It's fun. Look, as somebody who learned from the master, and I can cut anybody to the quick.
Yeah.
Because I was really good at it. I
Yeah,
can boom, 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 like RoboCop. I can, all the grids come up and I
Focusing on
see it,
the-
all of the flaws and the insecurities, and then, bam, I can hit you. But there's no satisfaction in that.
No,
I feel like
no.
like a jerk. I don't.
Yeah. I feel like roasting, you have to be really, really clever. Otherwise, all of it is just punching down.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think. What's that weird bald guy?
Jeff Ross.
Jeff Ross. Jeff Ross is good at it, and it's all kind of fun and games with them, and I get it.
They're all in on the joke.
Sure.
Yeah.
But then you have somebody like the roast of that dumb football player,
Tom Brady,
who doesn't know any better.
No,
and he's just a dumb
looks
McGee.
so uncomfortable on stage the whole time.
And hitting him about his wife and
Yeah.
his, that's just not funny.
No, it's not.
It's not. And maybe I'm just an idiot or whatever, but come on, man. I mean, you the thing is, if you're going to do a roast, be clever about it. Be funny about it. Find something more interesting than, you're banging a young girl. Or, hey, you got man boobs.
Hey. And it's really weird because we did come back, like you were saying about Apatow, we did come back to those kind of more like character-driven comedies,
with heart.
with heart, like Superbad and This Is 40, and like all of these were really funny.
The 40-Year-Old Virgin.
40-Year-Old Virgin, and granted, is kind of gimmicky and conceptual, but like it had so much heart to it.
Yeah.
Steve Carell carried that movie so well.
Well, and the friendships with Paul Rudd and Seth Rogen and Romney Malik, or not Romney Malik, but
No.
Romney, you know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I can't remember your last name.
Romney, yes, yeah.
But that's what was fun. Watching them hang out, play video games, and tease each other. While you're gay, which is
Paul Rudd being so upset about the big singer. I can't think of his name.
Michael McDonald. He's like, I'm gonna blow my brains out. I'm gonna be
How
there.
much he hated him.
Yes.
That was so relatable.
Yes, and again, I think those movies just started being the same movie.
They did. They again fell into the problem of they were all so good they just started becoming a glut and
I don't know. And then there were missteps, like the comedian one with Adam Sandler. I didn't think it was very funny. The one where he is dying and Seth Rogen is his comedy writer, and
God, I don't remember
he's
that
a jerk.
at all. Yeah.
Exactly. So then it becomes these forgettable kind of rehashings or mishmash of the other movies,
Right.
and then people get sick of it because it's going to run out. You can't. The reason why comedy is cyclical, is because you get tired of the same thing, and so we move on to something different or weird. And I'm just looking forward to some good comedies. I just need some good comedy. We need more than ever. This country needs some good goddamn comedies.
Yeah. It'd be nice to get back to doing more character-driven work and more good comedies. I mean, there's definitely some people out there that are making good comedies.
Yeah.
A lot of the people from Bottoms but a lot of them now are on TV. They do TV stuff, or streaming stuff.
Yeah.
And there's some good stuff out there. I mean, the Detroiters guys, those two guys. I can't think of. He did the.
I like one of them. I like the black dude. What's his name?
I never remember his name. I like the other guy too. He's weird.
He's too loud to me. I can't stand dumb, screamy, angry comedy, and that's everything that I've seen him is him like being a douche. And I get it. He's good at it. He's funny. Their Totino's commercial thing was pretty funny.
Right.
And I
think they're better together.
Yes, and I did enjoy the Detroiters more. Sam Richardson.
I think you're right. Yeah. The other guy's Tim something. I can't remember his last name.
Robbins. It's something Robbins.
Tom, maybe.
But he's got that. I mean, I tried to watch that. Get out of here.
You're not welcome here, or whatever it's called,
and
which seems to keep coming back.
I don't know. It just was very. It's just him being extremely off-putting. And I just don't need that. But
Tim Robinson, I think that's his name.
Something like that. Yeah.
Is it really Robinson and Richardson?
Maybe.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
I mean, Richardson's great.
He's really funny
in the after party
Yeah,
shows.
yeah, he's really funny. He's solid all the time.
all the time. Very funny guy, and he does earnest, nice guy comedy. That the put upon nice guy who finally snaps.
Yeah, perfect.
Sam's got
Perfect.
that down.
Love it.
And yeah, they're better together. But yeah, I just don't see comedies coming back to the theaters anytime soon.
No, I agree. And it makes me sad. It makes me really sad.
And the main problem is that, there used to be 30, 40 movies, 100 movies released a year, and now it's 4 ginormous billion-dollar movies,
Right.
a few horror movies to make up the difference,
Yeah.
and then a couple of Oscar baiters.
Yeah, I last night I was gonna try to go see a movie, and I was like, well, I'll go see the new Captain America movie, because it's a theater. Like, I want to see a big, loud, movie.
Yeah.
And then timing didn't work out, and Phoebe and I were talking. She's like, "Is there something else you want to see?" And I looked through, and I was like, not really. Like, there's not. I mean, all of them. I was like, I could wait until they come onto streaming. Until I'm sitting at home.
Well, that's the thing too, is we have the technology where we have mini home theaters.
Yeah,
We've had that for
yeah.
years, but now with these giant flat screens, they're even better.
Yeah.
And so I'm not, you go to certain theaters like the Alamo Draft House, where honestly the screen's not that much bigger than the one we have at home.
They're really not.
And now you're paying $20, $25.
Yeah.
Why?
That's just it, exactly. I mean, and even last night, the Cinemark has a Tuesday thing where you pay. It's like every Tuesday, it's like $7.50, which is great. But still, you're paying $7.50 to go see a movie, and it's like when I could wait 6 weeks and it's on Hulu or whatever.
Look, $7.50 is reasonable to me.
Yeah. I agree, and when there is stuff I want to see, which, like, there is going to be something in the next couple of weeks that we're going to go see.
But $20 for a movie is not reasonable.
No, I agree.
You cannot take your family. I've been talking about this a lot recently, is how back in the day, Disneyland had tickets. Everybody got a packet of tickets. There was no privilege. There was no buying your way to the front.
Right.
Movies were cheap. National parks were free. Everybody got to enjoy the entertainment.
Right.
Now, everybody's priced out of it. If you want to take your family to the movies on a weeknight, it's going to cost you $100. Easy.
Right.
And if you want to go without the kids, it's even more because you got to get a babysitter and all that stuff. And, Disneyland is insane.
Oh, my God. Like, the cheapest season pass now is like $1,400 or something for one person.
That is absolutely insane.
It's crazy. And I still know people that have it. And I'm just like, why?
Because if you go 20 times, then
I guess.
But
and honestly, a single day pass, you probably only need to go like 3 times considering.
Yeah.
I mean, because I think it's upwards like $150 just to get into one park now.
Yep. And then you can spend an extra $500 to get the super duper.
And on top of the fact that you're going to be buying at least 2 meals, so it's like you're spending like $300 on meals.
And you got to get the souvenirs for the kids and the hats and the.
Gotta get my lightsaber.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just. Hey, yay! Late stage capitalism.
It saddens me that the divide, because entertainment is so important.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
You need an escape. You need to be able to do more than just sit at home and watch Netflix.
Or the news.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, I mean, you need entertainment. You need good entertainment.
And we're getting priced out, man.
Yeah.
And it's sad. It's very, very sad.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. So we need more sweet candy movies is the whole point.
Oh, I'm going to just tell you a quick little story that I heard pertaining to John Candy. So there was that new Dunkings or...
Oh, yeah. With
Affleck commercial.
Ben Affleck. Did you say Affleck?
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck, he's actually secretly a goose.
And his brother. His brother's in it.
Casey?
Casey I prefer. He's my preferred Affleck. But apparently, one of the people in the commercial, I'm not sure if he was an extra or whatever, was John Candy's son.
Oh, yeah.
And he didn't tell anybody or whatever, but some of the crew and people, just hanging out during the day, it came up that he was their son. And everybody was like, oh, my God, we love your father so much.
Yeah.
We love him so. And he was completely floored by all the affection and telling stories about his dad and stuff. And I thought it was really cute. And I hope the kid gets a career. I really want to see Next Generation.
Yeah,
the next Candy.
Yeah, he's I think his name's Sam, and he has an older sister named Jen, and both of them are pretty quiet about the fact that John Candy was their dad.
Is she an actor as well?
I don't believe so.
Oh, okay.
No. I don't. I'm not sure what she does. I found her Instagram handle,
nice.
but I didn't research into it because it felt kind of creepy.
Yeah, those stalkers.
I was like, okay.
But yeah, I thought that was really fun. And then then Affleck threw a fit because he wasn't getting the attention. No, I'm kidding. He did not. I didn't. I'm not sure about that.
He kept throwing coffee in people's faces.
I'm the Don King. Your dad's been dead for years. Shut up. You're fired.
I got Jennifer Lopez.
I'm Batman.
Your dad never got Jennifer Lopez.
Your dad was Batman. Your dad was Fat Man.
Okay, wow. I don't know if Ben Affleck punches down. I'm going to assume.
He's from Boston, dude. Everybody from Boston punches down. Trust me. I can say that because I was born in Boston.
Sure. No, it's very easy for Bostonians to punch down.
Look, bottom line is, all of these movies are criminally hard to find. Find them.
They are available for purchase. They're not available for streaming anywhere. I think it was Kino Lorber. Actually, I just got an email from them with Summer Rental, and it was some other John Candy movies. But Uncle Buck had just been released on 4K.
Oh, cool.
So they were including some other movies, but I know Summer Rental was one of them. And Only the Lonely is available, and The Great Outdoors is, because it was through a big company.
If you're going to do one, Only the Lonely is our top pick.
It is the one that even just talking about it now, I want to sit down and watch it again.
Yeah, it is a beautiful film. You won't regret watching it. And it is emblematic of everything that we've been talking about John Candy this month.
Yeah, he is a sweetheart.
Yeah, miss him. I miss him so much. After watching this, I miss him so much. I've been watching interviews and sketch clips from Messy TV, just kind of getting I'm not ready to let go of John Candy.
Yeah. It's really weird that I literally did not know John Candy at all, but I miss him like he was a friend. Yeah. And it's sad. It just saddens me.
Because for all intents and purposes, he just sounds like the best that Hollywood produced, and that's because he's from Canada.
I mean, you're not wrong.
No. Well, let's talk about some movies.
Okay. A movie that we both watched that I've been waiting for a long time to see. Longlegs.
Yes.
Finally came out on Hulu.
Yes, me too. I have been waiting for this movie. What's funny is I was worried that this was going to be a slasher horror movie.
Yeah.
And it was exactly what I wanted. Exactly what I wanted.
Very much surprised me.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Osgood Perkins. When I worked for the International Film Sales Agency, we had one of his scripts, and I fought so hard for them to put money on it.
Nice.
And produce it, and it didn't happen. This was like probably 10 or 12 years ago, so I mean, I don't even remember what the script was, but I remember it being very good, and I loved the fact that it was Osgood Perkins.
Yeah, Anthony Perkins kid.
His dad is so amazing.
Yeah, his dad was a great artist, not just a great actor, but a great
amazing
writer,
artist.
A great photographer. You know,
amazing photographer,
and a man who was tortured. You know, who lived a double life and
had to live a lie for a very long time.
Yeah, and I can see that reflected in his son's work.
This is very much a very personal movie for Osgood Perkins, and has gone on record in interviews saying that it was very much influenced by his relationship with his parents.
Yeah,
his dad. I don't know if his dad and mom were technically ever married, but Barry Berenson, she was a model, and they had the kid, and is Anthony Perkins trying to lead a quote unquote normal life?
Yes. Well, he was a homosexual.
Yes, couldn't be a gay man,
just like everybody in Hollywood back then.
Yeah. But he did. He took it a step further than most of the other gay men who did. He had a kid.
Yeah.
And the weird thing I found out was that Osgood Perkins' mom was on one of the planes during 9/11 that crashed. God. Yeah, I think on Flight 11.
She was a terrorist?
Yeah, yes. She flew the plane into the Pentagon. Yeah.
That is weird.
No, she was on Flight 11, which I think was the one that went down in Pennsylvania.
That's horrifying.
But it was, yeah. Obviously, you're being sardonic. But I didn't know that, and that blew my mind. Like, I had no idea. Because his dad died in the 80s from AIDS.
Yep.
And But he has gone on record saying that this movie is very much about, having to live a lie and hide things from your family, and it definitely comes out in Long Legs. I was surprised by this movie. I didn't know if I liked it after I saw it the first time. I mean, granted, I've only seen it once, but the more I think about it, the more I've looked into it, the more I realize just how brilliant this movie is.
Yeah. I had been looking forward to this movie, and I knew really very little about it.
Yeah,
and
same.
The marketing was very smart in terms of not giving away too much and not showing Nick Cage.
Yeah.
But it was a great period FBI movie. It would be an amazing double feature with either Seven or Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the low, the deconstructed Silence of the Lambs, like a more grounded, real. Even though it's deals with Satan.
Yeah.
It still has that feel.
Yeah.
And it, from frame one, feels like a Stephen King movie come to life.
Yeah.
It has that look and feel.
It definitely does. Yeah.
That I picture when I'm reading his books.
Yeah.
It's the kind of.
I would say with a good double feature with a more modern horror movie would be Barbarian. If you watch Barbarian and Long Legs together, I think those would be good.
I don't know if I've seen Barbarian.
With
with Justin Long.
Justin Long
in the
being
weird
the douchebag and the because I really liked Barbarian. I thought it was done really well. But Long
Is that
Legs
Oscar Perkins?
No. It was I don't remember who it was. I'm not going to say one way or the other. But it was a younger horror guy who's been doing movies for like 10 years. No, Oscar Perkins hasn't done a ton. Like he's definitely.
What are some of his other films?
The Monkey.
It had such a unique look and feel to it.
Yeah.
And the casting, you were mentioning Karen Shipka, she was so good.
Yeah.
As the I don't know, niece or whatever. I don't know. It just came together really well. And for something, I will tell you this though, and I need to watch it again. But for me, the one thing that keeps it from being like a perfect movie, is Nick Cage.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Okay.
I think that if it didn't have the kind of Nick Cage weirdness to it, I don't know if the movie would have been as good to me.
I was distracted because it is Nick Cage. And unfortunately with Nick Cage, it's always Nick Cage!
Yeah.
And I think the same character, but a different actor. I understand that this movie would not have probably been made without Nick Cage.
No.
And wouldn't have gotten distribution without Nick Cage.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Nick Cage did a bad job.
Right.
I just think it would have. I think it might have been a little bit more interesting with somebody a little bit more grounded and without as much baggage that comes with a Nick Cage performance.
I don't disagree. I think that there was reasoning behind everything, and that was interesting to me. I mean, this is, and obviously huge spoilers. It was a man that was totally in love with the devil. Mm-hmm. Like his face was so messed up because he was trying to make himself look pretty for Satan.
Yeah.
And like wanted to please Satan so badly that makeup that he used, it took 2.5 hours every day to do all that makeup and the weirdness. And I did like the fact that they kind of hid him away for most of the time because there were points when I was like, even when they were showing him from profile, I was like, is that really Nicolas Cage? And then he would start screaming, and I was like, oh, yes, it's obviously Nick Cage.
Well, that's the thing, too, is too much of that character would have been too much.
Agreed.
Because he was from a different movie, in a way. I mean, he was very over the top. Because I was so impressed with Alicia Witt, who I've always loved as an actor, but she was impeccable in this.
Yeah, she was so good.
And
I almost didn't even realize during the movie it was her.
Only because I saw her name. I'm like, my God, that's her.
Yeah.
But such a layered performance, and it starts off, what I love about this movie is everything starts off very benign, and the way everything just peels away like an onion.
Yeah.
And when we get to the center of that Tootsie Pop, man, holy crap, when all the revelations are...
It has such a good twist, and it worked so well.
Yeah.
It works so well.
And the ending again, you have a great ending where you don't know what happened.
Yeah.
If she would have shot or not shot, We don't know.
The best, I saw an interview with Osgood Perkins, and people were like, well, what happens at the end? Like, what happens with the girl? And like the doll didn't die, and like what happened? And literally his answer was, I don't care. The movie's done. I don't know.
I love him. That is awesome.
He was just like, whatever. I mean, whatever you want it to be. It doesn't matter. For him, I told the story I wanted to, and that was it.
It was a cool supernatural serial killer story.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm very much, I dug into it the same way I did like Hereditary, because there was stuff that like, I knew there was more to things, and I wasn't quite sure what it was. I think Hereditary is a much more complex movie.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Definitely went way deeper into stuff, which is good and bad, you know. But there are 10 instances of the shadow of the devil showing up in this movie.
Bitchin'.
That nobody knew about until people started buying it on streaming and like pointing it out. Some people had to highlight the contrast and up the contrast to be able to see it, but it's there.
Yeah.
And it's so creepy. It's so creepy.
I love those little touches. You can tell that he loves what he's doing, and you can tell that he has worked very hard at creating his own style. Yeah. And we're going to be watching Osgood Perkins movies for a while. And just like David Fincher or Steven Spielberg, we will know an Osgood Perkins movie from the first frame.
He's got 2 movies coming out this year.
I can't wait. I cannot wait for The Monkey. I hope it lives up to the hype that I am creating in my mind. I love Theo James. And Osgood Perkins is in it too. He plays Chip. He plays one of the brothers, right?
Yeah. In The Monkey?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I can't wait. But he got such great performances from Micah Monroe.
Yeah.
She was great.
She was so good.
And it is such a subtle performance, and it is such a layered performance.
Yeah.
And it is really tough for me sometimes when characters are so closed off, and if somebody does something for somebody and they don't say thank you, they just kind of walk by, and she was definitely that character, but it worked for me.
Well, it almost came off as kind of autistic.
Mm-hmm, yes.
And like, but there's a reason. And like, it's so interesting. It was just done. It was layered so well.
And Blair Underwood, dude.
Oh my God.
I have not seen him. I love Blair Underwood.
He was in that last scene, he was so frightening.
Yeah.
Oh my God, so frightening.
It's great to see him. It's great to see Alicia Witt. Karen Shipka, again, great performance.
Yeah.
I was so pleasantly surprised by this movie. It did not let me down.
Yeah.
It was exactly what I wanted.
Yeah, it grew on me a lot in a very quick manner.
Yeah. But I see that too, where it's, if it's not what you expect, then it takes a little while to readjust.
I had to process a lot.
Yeah.
it was worth it. It was so good. It was so good.
Yeah, 100% recommend that if you're a fan of serial killer movies or weird, creepy movies or Nicolas Cage.
It was good. It was definitely good. Oh my God. And it got so brutal at the end. So brutal.
Yeah, it really did. But definitely check it out. It's on Hulu.
Yeah, it's fun times.
We also watched, speaking of comedies, You're Cordially Invited.
Yes.
The Will Ferrell
and Reese Witherspoon.
Yes.
Whose name I could not remember for a moment. It was a sitcom setup, but it was funny. It was funny.
It is what we need. A dumb, funny comedy with 2 really great leads. Will Ferrell is so effing funny.
Yeah.
It has been a while since I've seen him in a comedy like this.
Yes, agreed.
And nobody really does it better.
No.
He is so good at bumbling. He's so much better. Sorry, Chevy Chase, but he's a mixture of Candy and Chase, I would say.
Yeah.
He's got the earnestness and lovability of Candy, and he's got the psychosis of Chase.
Yeah.
Because he can go psycho.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, yes.
And Reese Witherspoon is a lovely, funny, talented person.
She is such a good foil to Will Ferrell.
Oh, yeah.
Like that straight man, I'm going to do this, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And just so good at making Will Ferrell insane.
And there were some good surprises to it. It wasn't just, a by-the-numbers
No, it was funny. It was funny.
I enjoyed myself. It harkened back to old school comedy when people are like, "Well, I don't make comedies anymore." Yeah, they do, and this was one of them.
Yeah,
and it's got its body humor and all sorts.
There is some grossness in it.
Yeah,
but it was funny. It was really funny.
Yeah, I no reason to really go into it because it's not the deepest movie ever. But if you're looking to just have a beer and a good time and escape from the madness, it's definitely worth a look because Will Ferrell is hilarious.
It's a good popcorn movie. Like you're not gonna think too deeply about it after it's done.
No,
but it was so entertaining.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of the '90s comedies.
Yeah,
it's kind of fluff that you don't remember. Goes in one ear, out the other.
Like a Wedding Crashers. Like it just kind of it's really funny, and then it's like, oh, that's right, I did watch that movie.
It's some ding dongs or Twinkie, It's empty calories. You enjoy at the time, and then you forget about it.
It's a ding dong comedy.
I also just really quickly, since we're on comedies, I also watched the Netflix Kind of Pregnant.
Oh yeah.
I am a big fan of Amy Schumer. I know a lot of people don't like her.
She's hit or miss for me, but yeah.
But I like her take on like body positivity and the fact that she is shameless when it comes to doing physical comedy. She does not care. I love the fact that she will do anything for the laugh, and she's great. And I really enjoy Will Forte. He's another wackadoo weirdo.
He's so weird.
He is kind of Andy Kaufman light. He is kind of a more mainstream version of Andy Kaufman to me.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't care. If you listen to him or Seth Meyers talk about Saturday Night Live, he didn't care about bombing. He just wanted to get the weirdest crap on.
Yeah.
And
that was they were talking about the fart face sketch.
Yes.
And how it came on right after Weekend Update, and Josh Brolin was just like, all right, let's kill this crowd.
Yeah.
We're going to kill the vibe. Let's do it.
Let's ruin the show.
It was so great.
They all knew it was going to bomb.
It was just going to be bad. But it was stupid, but it was funny.
But it was absurd. He's an absurdist.
Because he has the commitment to the absurdity.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've been rewatching sitcoms. I've been watching 30 Rock, and I forgot about his arc on 30 Rock as Jenna impersonator who they fall in love with. So perfect together. The guy is a genius. Anyway, he is so good in it. They've got a really great chemistry.
Okay.
For a convoluted setup, one of the gimmick comedies.
Right.
It does a good job of navigating the stupid absurdity of it and the realism. And I really enjoyed it. I enjoy her. I enjoy him. It was a fun little comedy.
I didn't even know he was in it. Now that makes me want to watch it more.
Yeah. No, he was good. It was good. I recommend it. Not as good as You're Cordially Invited.
Yeah.
Different. Kind of the same vein, different. But if you're going to go for one comedy, I'd go Cordially Invited.
And they're both on Netflix? No,
Cordially is on Prime.
Prime, that's right.
And Netflix for Kind of Pregnant.
Kind of Pregnant, yeah. I almost watched Kind of Pregnant yesterday, but instead I watched a kind of time travel movie. Well, I mean, honestly, for me it was a time travel movie because I thought it came out this year, and it came out in 2019. But I watched Don't Let Go, which is a great like $5 million thriller shot in L.A., like about a detective who's got an extended family, his brother and his kid and his brother's wife, and they all get murdered. And then he gets a phone call from the niece, who he's very close with. Even though she's dead, he gets a phone call, and then he finds out that she's calling from 2 weeks ago, and they have to figure out the murder.
I think I remember this. Yeah.
It was written so well. Nice. It's from Blumhouse, and Jason Blum, the founder of Blumhouse, was one of the producers.
Oh, okay.
So it was very tight script. It was done very well. David Oyelowo, I don't know if I'm saying that right, plays a lead. He was really good. Alfred Molina's in it. Brian Tyree Henry. Michael T. Williamson. It was done really. The little girl, whose name I don't know, a little girl, she's probably 13, was really good. I was just surprised by how well done it was.
Nice.
It was really good. It's on Netflix. It was just released on Netflix this month. It's in their like top 10 right now. But it was done really well. Like I was really surprised. Nice. David Oyelowo is so good in it.
He's an amazing actor.
Yeah.
I am so glad that he is becoming a star. a lot of the new actors coming up, kind of hit or miss for me.
Yeah, yeah.
But that guy is solid.
He's so good. He's so good. It was done really well, and it definitely is one of those movies that zigs when you think it's going to zag.
Nice.
And it was like, okay. Like, I like where this is
zags
going.
when it zigs?
It does. It was really interesting. I mean, it was done really well. Like, I was impressed. Just a tiny little movie, but it was like a good thriller and easy to shoot. You know, I mean, there wasn't like big special effects or anything. It was very character driven.
Nice.
It was done really well. It was a good little mystery thriller.
I got to check it out because I think I'm mixing it up with a different movie of kind of a similar thing.
Yeah.
So I want to go back because I'm not sure if I've seen it, but I love everybody in it. And yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw it. But
my absolute favorite thing about it is that they literally never explain why the gimmick happens.
Great.
It just happens. And they're just like, all right, we're moving forward. Let's go. Once he realizes what's happening, he's like, oh my God, I can save you.
That's smart because so many of those movies get bogged down by the convoluted explanation for why we're back in time.
Random tertiary character that comes in and goes, oh, I was inventing a time machine.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, we don't care.
Or there was a rip in the space-time fabric.
It doesn't matter. It was good. I recommend it. It was
cool. And what's that called again?
Don't Let Go.
And it's on Netflix?
On Netflix.
Nice. Yeah. The last movie we want to talk about that we watched was Saturday Night.
Yeah, finally got to catch that. We're both very huge SNL fans.
Yeah, and also Jason Reitman too.
Definitely Jason Reitman. He's so good.
It was a disappointment for me. I'm going to have to say
it did not. Yeah, I would agree.
I was very much looking forward to it, but unfortunately, it fell into a lot of the traps of these types of movies, which is over reverence for the material,
right,
and cramming too many Easter eggs and things that didn't happen to make it seem more mystical and magical.
Right.
And the casting was very hit or miss. The casting of the women was remarkable.
Right.
Gilda Radner, Lorraine Newman, Jane Curtin, they were all great. Mm-hmm. I did not think... I thought Lamorne Morris was great as Garrett Morris.
Yeah.
Because he's just an incredible actor.
Right,
I love him so much.
Lamorne's great, yeah.
Ever since the New Girl.
Oh, he's so good.
Amazing in Fargo. Amazing in Fargo in the latest season.
The last season of Fargo.
Yeah. He's a guy to watch. He's a guy I'm hoping is just going to keep rising up. Doesn't have to do those dumb insurance commercials.
I was going to say he's the guy doing. No, it's for the banking thing.
The banking.
Yeah, I was like, that's him. But hey, whatever, man. It's paying the bills.
Exactly. It's getting him his house.
Yeah.
But the John Belushi, who is one of my comedy heroes,
right.
The man looked like him.
Yeah.
But he had no charm. He had an eyebrow, and he didn't have the charm or the talent. There was nothing likable about him.
It was like they were... My biggest complaint about the movie is that they were playing it like they all knew that Saturday Night, the show, was going to be successful.
Right.
And none of them had any idea what the hell was going on.
No, and they were also playing it like these guys were divas.
Like they had already been on the show for 5 years.
Yeah.
And were superstars.
Yeah.
And they weren't.
No. And even, I know that some of it was based on, some of that stuff did happen. I'm not sure about the contract thing. I think that may have happened. But John Belushi was a charismatic, hilarious, unique performer. And you're never going to find anybody to play him. I would much rather see somebody that had the essence of John rather than the looks of John.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it made me dislike him.
Yeah.
In the film, and also with Chevy Chase. I like that actor. He was really good in Gotham. He played the Riddler, Enigma. Enigma.
Edward.
He's very good at playing eccentric, odd characters. But again, he did not have the charm of Chevy Chase,
right?
Or the looks.
Yeah.
Chevy Chase was an extremely handsome, charming dude, and he wasn't. And basically John Belushi, they whittled him down to a guy that didn't want to wear a bee costume.
Yeah.
And was throwing tantrums and disappeared to go ice skating 10 minutes before the show starts.
Yeah. The
kid that played Aykroyd was good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For me, I am very, very critical of biopics.
Yeah, me too.
And this is a biopic.
Yeah.
And And 99% of biopics, at the end of the day, once you watch them and you sit down, you realize they should not have been made.
No, and this does what I like in biopics, which is narrowing it down to one specific event.
Right.
But I think they misjudged. I think the event should have been behind the scenes as the show was going on.
Right.
The chaos of making this show.
Right.
The first act could be the lead up, the 20 minutes leading up to the show.
Yeah.
But then I want to see what's going on as they realize what this is, as they realize that they're pulling it together.
That it's working.
Yeah. And that kind of excitement, because that's more, that to me is a lot more interesting than, oh, Jim Belushi hated the bee costume, and there's a fight between he and Chevy Chase because they're both spoiled brats.
The fact that they stretched out the opening of the show, and then whether or not John Belushi was going to come on stage, they stretched it out so long. And it's like, hey, guess what? We all know he comes out.
Exactly.
We all know that the show happens.
Exactly. So give us something new.
Yeah.
Don't create this ridiculous don't create this fairy tale that suits your drama. Let's see what's really going on. Let's see the charm, why these characters were picked, It
needed to be, much like we talked about earlier, need to be more character-based rather than just, even though, and I agree, it was nice that it was just a set like 90 minutes or whatever, it still wasn't focused enough on character.
Right.
And learning more about these people.
And and you're right too, I didn't feel the immediacy. I didn't feel the tension because I knew the show goes on. Yeah. That's why I'm saying they missed the mark.
I agree. It should have started, even if I wouldn't say the first act. The opening was just them getting ready to start, and then have the show go.
Yeah,
and it's a movie. Like, it doesn't have to be. Obviously, you're going to make stuff up for it.
Right.
If you can find drama inside that 90 minutes or that, whatever of that first episode.
But another thing that really annoyed me was, as a big fan of Saturday Night Live, and especially that cast, I remember at 6 years old seeing that show, sneaking down because I heard something funny and watching through the staircase.
Oh, really?
The entire thing. Not getting caught and glued to it, man. Glued to it and fascinated.
It was so the first time
seeing John Belushi
so amazing
in a
and
bee
weird
costume.
Yeah, it was so weird.
I immediately fell in love with him.
Yeah,
immediately. And as somebody who's such a huge fan of the show, what really bothered me were these stupid Easter eggs, like, oh, here's Chevy Chase picking up the phone and doing that improv.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, what about? Which didn't come in until like the third or fourth show.
Yeah, I think it was the third show. Yeah.
It wasn't part of that. The all kill Whitey, which is one of the greatest things Garrett Morris did, which is hilarious.
Right.
But that was a few shows down the line, and it wasn't in there. And those little things that are like, oh, here's some Easter eggs for you for the fans, but it backfired for me. It was more like, oh, you're just jamming this in there for the fans, and it's not historically accurate. But that's why I think it needed to be discovering things while you're on camera.
Right.
Is more interesting than, oh, well, this is where that came from.
Right.
6 weeks from now.
It's funny though, because it did make me go back and I watched the first like 4 or 5 episodes of the first season.
Yeah.
And it's interesting just how different it was.
Oh yeah.
And amazing. I mean, like, it was done really, like, there was stuff in that first episode, like the bring us your guns.
Yes.
Like, it was like, wow, this was 1975. Like, that's crazy.
Very progressive. Yeah, because I immediately watched the first episode after we finished watching, because I wanted to compare and contrast.
Sure, of course.
And yeah, you're right. It was just absurd. The opening sketch with, I want to find the Wolverines. I want to find the Wolverines. It was so ridiculous, esoteric.
And it was like, what's going on? And then he just falls down. All right.
But yeah, it's an it's crazy that show has lasted for 50 years and become a cultural...
Insane.
it is iconic. I mean, you can't use another word.
No, it really
it.
is. It really is.
Which brings us, I guess, to they just celebrated their 50th anniversary.
Yeah.
Did you watch any of
I
that?
have not had a chance to see any of it. Yeah.
Ooh, sorry. About had a heart attack. I watched it. I kind of watched it. I had a friend over last night, and we were kind of talking and watching. But it was really a lot of it was very fun. It was really fun to see some of my favorites back, like Adie Bryant.
Yeah,
I miss her so much.
Yeah.
And
there's been so many people in that show in 50 years.
Cicely Strong. I miss her so much. And it's so great to see Kate McKinnon back. I got that in my brain.
Nice.
Right off of the thing. It's great to see Kate McKinnon back. Eddie Murphy was doing Tracy Morgan.
Yeah.
Next to Tracy Morgan playing a different character.
Oh, that's funny.
And watching Tracy Morgan just kind of like... And then Tom Hanks came on and everybody got mad. But
well, some people got mad.
Well, I watched that too. It's like 6 seconds. My God.
Whatever.
But it was really fun. Meryl Streep came on and played the mother of Kate McKinnon's character that gets abducted.
Oh, yeah.
It was funny because I stopped watching Saturday Night for a lot of years. Mm-hmm. When I was doing sketch comedy, that was the dream of all of us. But,
sure,
out of jealousy, I kind of stopped watching. And it just wasn't as funny.
Yeah.
And so the way that I got back into it was I was in Texas years ago, and my folks were going to bed because that's what older people do, and there was nothing to do. So I turned on the TV, and Saturday Night Live was starting, and I watched a sketch with Kate McKinnon and Ryan Gosling doing the abduction.
Yeah. That was Ryan Gosling, yeah.
And she was so freaking funny, man. I lost it.
One of the best sketches on that show.
Yeah,
it was so good.
And I'm a shooter and my cooters. All it's just
to the point where Ryan Gosling could not keep a straight face.
Nobody
can.
can.
So great. She was so committed.
One of the greatest performers ever on Saturday Night Live, Kate McKinnon. Her, Phil Hartman.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Those two. That's it. Everybody else is
John Belushi, Chevy Chase. The iconic people that were the best. She's one of the best performers ever. And one of the utility players like Phil Hartman or Daryl Hammond, who could just do anything.
Would just pop in.
Yeah.
Or what's his name? Chris Kattan.
Oh my God.
Chris Kattan.
What was really fun to do during the show is when they would cut to the audience for questions and stuff, you would be like, there's Steven Spielberg sitting next to Kate Capshaw. And there, and there's Reverend Al Sharpton sitting next to, But then our friend was like, oh my God, is that Chris Kattan? And you looked, and he looked like a bridge troll, dude.
He's creepy looking.
I don't know what's going on, but he looked like a creature. And it was disturbing. It was, it was like if you see a painting and there's that one person that looks like a demon or whatever. I don't know what's going on with it. That was crazy. But it was really fun to see all of the
I plan on watching it. It's just I just haven't yet. I mean, it's one of those. It's like gonna be. I'm actually kind of curious about the musical thing that aired the day before, because the 50 years of music or whatever. That was the one thing with watching the original episode again. I didn't realize how much I really liked the first musical artist. The
Janice Ian?
No. Before that, the guy on the piano.
I
can't think of his name.
Rufus Wainwright? No.
No.
And he's the guy that's
nothing for nothing means something or whatever. Something means nothing. Yeah.
No.
It's such a good song, but he's so good, and the fact that he was the very first musical artist on that show, and then the fact that the second show it was it's hosted by Paul Simon, and it pretty much was half of the show was a Paul Simon concert.
Well, they could have. In my opinion, they could have cut one of the Janice Ian super sad songs. I love Janice Ian, by the way. But she does not have a lot of charisma or stage presence. She just seems like a very sad nerd who...
You could hear Josh Brolin in the back going, let's bring the audience down.
I learned the truth at 17. The man was made for beauty queens.
She's very talented.
Yeah.
But man, it was just like sore thumb.
And she's hilarious, by the way. She used to go on Howard Stern all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And she would sing parody songs of 17 with him. And it was the weirdest pairing.
Yeah.
But she was extremely hilarious. What was really funny about the 50th that kind of stung was they started with Paul Simon, who, it's weird. There's these stages of old man hair that goes from Paul Simon to Chevy Chase, which is different stages of wispy gray,
right,
balding to bald.
Yeah.
It's disturbing. But he opened the show with Sabrina Carpenter.
Okay.
That's her name, right?
There is someone named Sabrina Carpenter.
Yes, she was like a Disney star, and she sings that espresso song. And so they open the song. They open with like a song or whatever, and they're talking, and she's like, I wasn't even born before Saturday Night Live was on, and she's like, and my parents weren't even born when this show premiered. And the look on his face, and it was just like, oh my god,
oh my god, that's
because it makes sense,
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. She's young,
and the thought of her parents not even being born when the show premiered.
I mean, that would be, if I had kids, that would be true of me too.
It's definitely worth watching. I love Saturday Night Live. It's a fixture. It's not perfect. It's had some bad years and some good years.
I definitely I think they're in the heyday of the Weekend Update. I think it's real good now. I mean, it's been real good for a while, but and the sketches are fine. Like it's hit or miss with some stuff, but it's still worth seeing every week. I mean, every time they have a new show, it's worth it.
There's some talented people working. It was really good to see Leslie Jones back. God, I miss her so much.
Good. Gosh, she's so good.
She's somebody too that needs to have a much bigger career.
Yeah.
It bothers me that she's not more.
I agree.
Everywhere. She needs to be everywhere.
Yeah, she should be on everything.
Yeah,
all the time. It should be law.
Let's replace The Rock with Leslie Jones. I'm telling you, all the movies would be better.
Whatever scripts are being written for The Rock right now, stick in Leslie Jones, keep it exactly the same.
Yes,
and it will be 100,000 times.
It
better.
will be the best Fast and Furious movie ever made.
Oh my god, that would be amazing.
Yeah,
that would be the only reason I would go see a Fast and Furious movie in the theater again, is if Leslie Jones was in it. The only reason.
But yeah, it's a long show, but you can zip through it if you got Peacock.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, it was really fun to see some of the old folks back.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm excited to watch it. This makes me more excited to watch it.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of go through it again because there's a lot of things that I missed. Yeah. But good for Saturday Night Live, man.
Hey, man, 50 years. That's a long time to be on the air.
It really is. And like we keep saying, now more than ever, comedy is so important. And you need to laugh. And we all need to find time and a way to laugh. Because if not, we're all going to die.
We're all going to shrivel up and slowly crawl under our beds never see the light of day again. Speaking of,
you playing any video games?
I finally finished the main story in Forbidden West.
Nice.
It took a while. I obviously did not 100% it. I did start playing a little bit of the expansion. I'm excited about the expansion because it's set in Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah.
There's some stuff in that game that's really good. Like once you're able to actually like start flying, like riding the flying creatures.
Yeah.
It is. Last Sunday, Phoebe was asleep, and I was just flying around the map.
That's awesome.
She woke up. She's like, "Oh, that's really pretty," and I was like, "I've been doing this for like half an hour, just flying around."
That is great.
And there's a really good. The ending, like the credits, is the first time in a long time I've actually watched the credits of something because it literally starts at the beginning of the map, and then the whole thing is just one long tracking scene or tracking shot of you flying around the map.
Oh, nice!
While the credits go, so it was so good.
Very cool.
It was a fun story, good story. Curious to see if they're going to do another one.
They will.
I assume. I think it did really well. So.
Well, also the VR did well, and the Lego.
True.
They did the Lego thing that did really well.
So I'm excited to see where it goes. I was kind of hoping that the next one was going to be in a very different location, but I don't think it's going that direction, which makes me sad.
You should do like a European one or something with a whole different character, I think.
Well, they keep going. It's definitely going to have Aloy in it again,
which is fine. I think
she's
a
great.
character.
Yeah, she's great. But it's they did give hints of people from across the ocean, so like it's very possible that it might end up going into like Asia or something.
Oh,
so
very cool.
We'll see. I thought there was going to be a whole space thing. That is not happening.
Well, it kind of feels like it with all of the clones and crap that comes.
Yeah, I mean, it is a part of it.
Yeah,
and they did work that in really well in the story, and it was done really well.
Because aren't they like? Didn't they go to space to escape?
There was a group of them.
Yeah.
That in the first game and this isn't any spoilers, but in the first game you think that the ship got destroyed.
Yeah.
But you find out in the second game that they faked that so that way they could go to this other planet and then be people on another planet, I guess.
Right on.
You know, I mean, but it's interesting because they figured out how to essentially become immortal. And so it's like, you know, rather than it being like clones, it's literally the people from the 2050s or whatever that have come back, and like it's just really good. I'm very happy with it. I'm curious to finish playing the DLC, but because of that, I've sunk like 160 hours into this. So I've literally not played anything else.
That's awesome.
But it's fun. I love the series. I love the game. I'm so glad that I picked up the upgrade for the first game and played through it to get myself back into the second game because the stories are so good.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do that at some point this year too.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
I didn't tell you. I picked up the pre-order for Days Gone.
Oh, nice.
Even though I've tried to play through that game twice, I picked it. It's not coming out till like the day after my birthday.
April,
so,
yeah. Yeah, Days Gone is a PS4 game that they're releasing a upgrade.
It's going to be pretty.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed that game.
You finished it, yeah?
I think so.
Yeah.
I didn't much care for the lead. I didn't much care for the characters, but I really like the gameplay. I love the motorcycle.
Yeah.
I like the world.
I just have such a hard time with those hordes, man. They're just rough.
Yeah, they're very intimidating, but once you figure out, you know, if you throw fire on them or something and you can run and you do it piecemeal rather than just trying to take it all at once. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. I'll try to play through it again with the upgrade.
Yeah.
I'm still playing the Avatar Frontiers of
Pandora.
PlayStation, whatever it's called.
Frontiers of Pickles.
I've decided just to play the story, and I'm going to ignore the side quests because I find them laborious. And the story is pretty fun and interesting. Okay. And if you keep the story going, then it's a lot more exciting, more battles and stuff. But I don't care about the... once you realize that all of the crafting and upgrading, all that stuff doesn't really make that much of a difference.
Yeah. This was the interesting thing about Forbidden West is that much like most of these games, you know, there's tiers of the weapons and the armor and stuff. And I literally never got any legendary armor the entire game. And you know what? It didn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
It didn't matter.
It doesn't. And, you know, much like the movies, the game is really pretty.
Yeah.
And I haven't had any technical problems really with it. A couple of really minor ones.
Yeah.
But it's really forgettable. I really don't know what's going on. I know that we're fighting against the army again.
Yeah.
And you know, them trying to encroach upon our land.
You're using guns and stuff? Like, do you have access to guns?
Yeah, you have a machine gun, a shotgun, and several different types of bows and a sling and a spear.
Okay.
I basically use one bow, and then, you know, the shotgun's completely overpowered, so you can pretty much, you know, get everybody with that. It's, you know, it's challenging. Some of the base takeovers and stuff have been challenging, but nothing too hard. It's fine. It's fine. It's kind of, I'm pushing myself through it.
I feel like I'm going to put it on easy and probably just barrel through the story and be like, oh, that was fun.
It's the way to do it.
And then completely forget I played it.
Yeah. You know, I've debated whether just kind of moving on.
Yeah.
But I do want to, I don't know if I necessarily want to see what happens, but I'm like,
you want to finish the story. You want to finish the story. That's fine.
Yeah. It is a fun game. I'm not saying, and again, like Forbidden West, once you open up the ability to fly, it's a lot more fun, and it does have vertical a lot of verticality to it with floating
right,
islands and stuff that you can visit.
Yeah.
And so it's I'm having fun. It just hasn't grabbed me.
Okay.
It's not something that I'm going to be up until 2 o'clock in the morning playing.
Right.
I did try some demos. I think I mentioned on the last show that I'm really excited that we're in a new age of demos.
Yeah.
I used to love getting, the Electronic Gaming Monthly or whatever, and it would come with a disc of demos for your Xbox.
Yeah.
And or when you bought games, it would come with demos.
A demo, yeah.
Love me some demos.
Yeah, and for a long time, like PlayStation was all about the demos, and then for a few years, it was just like we're just not doing that anymore.
That's why I ended up getting Dragon's Dogma 2 because I played the demo and had a really good time with it. But I tried the Monster Hunter, the new Monster
Hunter Wilds.
I think so. Yeah,
something. Yeah,
very pretty. Maybe if I put some more time into it, but it's kind of just a boss battle game.
Yeah.
And or maybe I might be missing it. I
Right.
tried the other Monster Hunter games. It's just not. It's too much. Just fighting one thing.
Yeah.
You know, and it's one of those games too that when you start out, you don't have a lot of options on attacks and stuff, so it's kind of frustrating.
Right.
I turned it off halfway through a battle and deleted it because I'm like, I'm not going to play any more of this.
Yeah.
And it's just not for me. But I get it. I mean, it's a beautiful game, good graphics. They're fun. I'm just not the audience for that. I'm more of an RPG guy, more of an immersion guy.
Yeah.
And saying that, the other one that on the other side, I tried the Pirate Yakuza.
Yeah.
Like a Dragon. And oh my God, dude. That game is bonkers. Bonkers. They're all bonkers. All the Yakuza games are just weird. But this one, combining pirates into modern day Hawaii.
So weird.
And then this crazy, like, Guardians of the Galaxy nowhere planet pirate.
Oh, like island.
Place where you can battle in the arena. And
oh, wow.
The customization of your ship and yourself is crazy. And you can 2 different fight styles. You can turn into the pirate guy with your swords.
Oh, wow.
Or you can just be a dude with a knife. But the fighting, the last couple of Like a Dragon games went turn-based with their combat.
Yeah, I played through one of them. Or not through. I played some of one of them.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is back to like action combat.
Yeah, more.
It's weird. You get around on a Segway. And you have a kid and a tiger cub that's always following you around.
Weird.
And you find these weirdos to put in your crew. And it's really
so bizarre.
It is absolutely bizarre, but I had a lot of fun.
Okay, good.
With the demo, and when it goes on sale, I'm definitely going to pick it up.
Yeah, I the only one of those types of those games that I've actually played all the way through was the first Judgment game.
Yeah.
And I have the sequel and I haven't played it, but like that had an actual like more through story rather than just kind of being a soap opera.
Yeah, it was more grounded.
Yeah, But man, I have played a couple of the Yakuza games, and they're just so weird.
Yes.
And like, but more, they've gotten more weird as it's gone on.
It's a very stylized version of Japan, but I also kind of feel like I get Japan more after playing these games.
Yeah.
And the thing about the pirate one that's so great is there's ship-to-ship combat that is very similar to like Black Flag.
Oh, nice.
So that I didn't get to do open water ship-to-ship combat, but within the pirate island or whatever, they have an arena.
Fortress,
and I got to do a fight with that. And then I deleted it because I don't want to go too far in.
Yeah.
I'd rather just start fresh again.
The really nice thing about all these Yakuza games is that within a couple months they always get super cheap.
Yeah. This is definitely one that'll be down to $30 by the summer.
I think when it's coming out, it's not. I think it's only $40 or $50. Like, I don't think it's a full price game. Like from what I recall.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're definitely worth the bang for your buck.
Yes. It's so bizarre, but it looks really fun. I had a good time with it. Both of these games, Monster Hunter Wilds and the Pirate Yakuza game, come out this month.
Yeah.
I can't fully recommend either of them because I didn't really play much of them.
Yeah.
But if you want to do big cinematic battles with some really great creatures, I would maybe pick up Monster Hunter once it gets down to like $20 or something.
Yeah.
That seems fun enough. I really like the cat companion that you have that cooks and stuff. There's a lot of neat little touches to the camping and stuff.
That's cool.
I love games with downtime.
Right.
And places where you can just talk to your pals.
Just hang out. Yeah.
Do stuff, play games, whatever. I'm a weirdo. But so that looks kind of fun. And then I would definitely, if you've played any of the Yakuza games or if you played Black Flag, I think you'd probably enjoy this.
Yeah. That was one thing in Forbidden West that I did not do at all. They introduced a like mini game, like board game,
wow.
like Viking or the Valhalla, like some of these other games, or The Witcher,
Gwent.
In Forbidden West, I hated it so much.
Oh no!
I played it like once, and then I was like, I'm never doing this. And
that's sad.
Just completely ignored it the entire time. And there's a main character. You have a base. There's a main character that every time you walk by, it just triggers the, hey, do you want to play a game? And I'm just like, no, like this is stupid, and I don't like it.
I love Sabak in the Star Wars game.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan. It's funny because you mentioned The Witcher 3. When my first playthrough of The Witcher 3, I hated Gwent, hated it, and completely ignored it. And then my second playthrough, it became an obsession and my focus. I almost bought the Gwent game.
I actually have. I have it on my phone.
Wow.
I loved it from the second. It was just the strategy card game.
Yeah.
Like it played when that my 12-year-old nerd playing, all those strategy card games when I was young.
Magic the Gathering.
Magic, yeah. It was perfect. But yeah. It was just the first time, because normally I am very much into those like game within a game.
Yeah.
And just whatever reason, this one in Forbidden West I just hated the mechanics. I just did not like it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm getting better at being able to ignore things. It's hard for me to not complete everything.
You need to be completist.
Yeah. I'm also, we all know that the only FOMO I have is RPG FOMO.
Right.
Real life, I couldn't give less of a shit, but
I think for me playing through it this time is because I did give up on the game once. That I was like, I'm going to ignore the stuff that gets me frustrated and makes me not want to play this.
And I think that's the way to go with these giant RPGs, especially stuff like the new Assassin's Creed RPG, like the Valhalla, and it's okay. I'm getting better at being able to ignore the things that I don't like.
Yeah.
And I think this Avatar game is going to be a good step forward of me just disregarding garbage quests. Stuff that's busy work.
I got cured of completionism playing God of War Ragnarok, where I had literally one battle left to get the platinum, and I played it once on easy and died within 5 seconds. And it was like, guess what? I don't care anymore. I don't care.
God, I still got to finish that game.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I'm sure if I really tried, it'd probably be okay. But man, it was hard.
I still have to play the first God of War.
They're so good, man. It's like playing a movie. It's so good.
Maybe I'll
They're worth it.
Slide into that. I need to find something.
But I think that's it. I think that's everything.
For movies, Longlegs is our big.
Check it out on Hulu. It is worth a see. It's worth a couple sees, to be honest.
Yeah. If you're looking for a laugh, check out You're Cordially Invited. If you're a fan of Amy Schumer, check out Kind of Pregnant. Saturday nights.
Yeah.
If you want to see it, watch it. If you don't, you're not missing anything.
I would skip it.
I'd watch the actual episode.
Yeah.
You can get it on Peacock.
Peacock finally put, because of the 50th anniversary, finally put everything on.
Yeah.
They had been piecemealing it for years, and they finally have everything.
Oh, good. Yeah,
So
all 50.
Yeah, 50 seasons. It's crazy. So much SNL.
The funny thing was, he's like, I think Steve Martin's monologue, he said, and only, we had 800 and something hosts and only 2 murderers.
Ouch.
And we were trying to figure out who the second murderer was, but it was Robert Blake.
Oh, okay.
So OJ and Robert Blake.
Right. We're hosts.
We're the murderers.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
I would say definitely watch Don't Let Go. It was really good.
Cool.
It surprised me how much I liked it. Yeah.
And Severance, of course.
And Severance, which we did, and I have decided to stop being so obsessed with Severance because some people are getting really smart and putting forward theories that so far have been proven to be true, and I feel like I'm getting spoiled on things.
I haven't seen anything. I haven't watched anything yet.
It's so good.
I'm psyched to get it, but I think I want to binge it.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting until there's at least a few for me to get.
I mean, we're more than halfway through the season.
Nice.
But I think there's only going to be, I don't know if there's going to be 8 or 10 episodes. So I think we just did episode 5.
Well, I've been doing my retro sitcom therapy, jamming through all my old favorites. Yeah. I just finished Community. I watched that again, which is a great show.
I need to do a rewatch because I don't think I ever watched the last season.
Last season is interesting because they lose Yvette Nicole Brown.
Oh, really?
She shows up a couple of times, but not with them. She's like living in New Orleans working for this paraplegic lawyer. It's really funny. It's like a cop show thing. They have this one. Keith David.
Yeah. I must have, because I definitely saw him on it, so I must have watched some of it. Yeah.
So he comes back on. It's weird watching it again.
No. I was thinking Jonathan Banks.
Right.
They brought on Jonathan Banks.
Yeah. Well, he didn't make it to 6.
Yeah. No. So no. Sorry. I was thinking. I don't know how I confused.
What's crazy is
David and Jonathan Banks.
Jim Rash and Nate Faxon are the writers and directors of the whole 6th season.
Yeah.
I didn't know
really?
that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if they're the writers, but I know they directed all of them.
They definitely wrote it because they have been nominated for Oscars for their writing.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, it was like that thing where they show up and I was like, oh my God, it's the Community guys.
Nate Faxon is fascinating to me.
He's such a weird dude.
He shows up on everything.
Yeah.
Everything. I was watching that horrible fire department movie, the Tacoma FD
Tacoma
or whatever.
FD, yeah.
He ended up showing up on that.
Oh, wow.
He's everywhere.
He's weird, yeah. But him and Jim Rash, they've written a lot of stuff together.
He's hilarious. I really like Nate Faxon. I think he's great on that Enchanted show. He does really good voice stuff, and he's always game for completely making fun of himself, making himself look like an ass.
Such a weirdo.
Yes, because it's gonna get your freaking teeth fixed, brother.
Yeah.
You've been in the business for years now.
You've got the money now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing. He's a handsome dude.
Well, maybe that's his thing. Maybe Maybe if he fixed his teeth, he wouldn't sound the way he did.
True.
He does a lot of voiceover, so maybe
true.
that's.
But yeah, so I haven't watched a lot of TV except for old TV.
Yeah. It's fine. I've had a very busy month, so I mean, it's been.
Yeah.
But we'll be back next week. We're going to start our Steve's Hot Carl month.
Ooh, Steve's Hot Carl. Well,
I told somebody about this on Monday, and they were like, what?
Yes. A lot of poop. No,
Yeah.
It's our celebration of the collaboration of Carl Reiner and Steve Martin.
Oh, so good. So excited about it.
One of my favorite collaborations. All of you know how much I love Steve Martin, but this is my favorite era for Steve. Was the late 70s and the early 80s. He was firing on all cylinders, and these were just goofy, fun, ridiculous movies. And Carl Reiner is an effing genius, man.
So brilliant.
A genius. And I forget just how talented he was.
So brilliant.
As a writer, as a director, and as an actor.
Yeah.
And they did some great work together. And so we're going to start off with Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid.
Yeah.
And then we're going to do A Little Man with Two Brains.
Yeah.
And then the one that this is, again, we're closing with The Only the Lonely for me.
Yeah.
Because if I remember correctly, All of Me is the deepest and the best of the bunch. And it is such a great movie. And the physical performance by Steve Martin, who is half Steve Martin, half Lily Tomlin, is impeccable. It's amazing.
Yeah. I haven't seen All of Me in a long time.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to watch it again. I love The Man with Two Brains, and I've never seen Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid, so I'm hoping that I enjoy it.
I hope you like it too. It's a bit slow, but it's very much of what it is, which is a film noir parody.
I'm a big film noir guy, and I'm shocked I've never seen it, so I'm excited to watch it.
You're a film noir.
Well, thanks for listening. We'll be back next week.
Oh, Donnie. It's just...
Yeah, exactly. That is the best review of modern day capitalism.
Rob Schneider, who was probably the most... Can't even do that with a straight face. Half Steve Martin and half...
Lily Tomlin.
Half Steve Martin and half Lily Tomlin. Tomlin. Working Chicks File, Jim.
Adam.
Boom.
Done.
Stepdads.
Good, bad, done.
Movies, TV.
Movies, good. TV, good. Video games, good. We're done. Thanks.
World, bad.
World, bad.
We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming, Moonlighting, already in progress.